All right, so Peach is here to help us out with another experiment. And today, for our experiment, we are going to need an empty bottle, some vegetable oil, some Alka-Seltzer, some food coloring, and some water. Now, if you're working from your science packet, you want to make sure to go to the lava lamp page. So, as we are working on our experiments, we know, as we've been working with the scientific method and singing our scientific method song at Circle, that we have certain steps we need to follow when we're using the scientific method. The first thing that we need to do is we need to ask a question. So our question is going to be, when we add vegetable oil, water, and Alka-Seltzer together, what happens? So our next would be that we need to make a hypothesis or make a guess about what we think is going to happen when we mix vegetable oil, water, and Alka-Seltzer together. So, a couple reactions that could happen is that it could change color, it could fizzle, it could explode, or it could bubble. Which one do you think will happen? I think that this one is going to bubble. If you're working from your packets, you want to make sure to go to step 2 and pick out which hypothesis you choose. Is it going to explode, fizzle, bubble, or change color? Make sure to make a circle. So we've done first, next, then we need to do the experiment. All right, so here's the fun part. Now we want to remember that when we're doing an experiment, we never, ever, 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 ever put anything in our mouth, whether it's materials or our hands after some of the material has gotten on them, because we could get very sick. We also want to make sure that we're not reaching or grabbing or doing anything that our parent has not told us to do. So the first thing that we want to do for our experiment is we want to take our bottle and fill it halfway with water. Because I'm in my kitchen, I'm going to use my sink. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to add our vegetable oil. And we want to make sure that we add a good amount of vegetable oil. Maybe a little more. Okay, now when you look at the bottle of the water and the oil, you can see that something interesting happens. The oil sits on the top and the water sits on the bottom, because the water is a lot denser than the oil and the oil is a lot heavier, so it sits on top of the water. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a couple drops of food coloring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's look and see what's happening to the food coloring. It's just sitting. It's dripping down to the bottom. What's happening to the water, guys? Looks like the water is changing color, which is very cool. Now let's just review. Our question was, when we add vegetable oil and water and Alka-Seltzer together, what happens? So we've added our oil and our water. We've added some color. So next we're going to add our Alka-Seltzer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these up just a little bit so that they can fit in. And what's happening? You see, everything is starting to, it looks like it's starting to bubble. I put a lot in at once. It's making lots of bubbles. I don't see any explosions. I just see bubbles. Maybe even a little bit of fizzing at the top. Oh, look at how cool. All the little bubbles in here. Very, very cool. So, the last part of our scientific method is to draw the conclusion. So what happened? Out of our 4 things, out of our 4 reactions, what happened, guys? I would say it bubbled. And I actually picked bubble this time, so I was right for the first time, and that's okay. So if we're working from our packet, we want to make sure that we go to step 4, the conclusion, and circle what happened, which we said was bubble. Were you right? I was right this time, which is awesome. And then our last part is we want to make sure that we draw a picture of what happened, which is super fun. Now, what's also really fun for parents, along with this experiment, is that you can start it up again just by adding some more Alka-Seltzer. And you'll see you get to have the same reaction over and over again. Super fun. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed doing this experiment, and I will see you tomorrow.